Welcome back in ERB sports fans to another video. In this video, we're going to make a similar video to the NFL video that I released yesterday, where we talked about the market size for quarterbacks ranked from 1 to 30 for the last 3 years using the eBay data from Terapeak. I looked at the NBA players ranked by MVP odds, as you can see behind me. We've got the players ranked in terms of their current betting market odds. Joel Embiid up at the top, followed by Nikola Jokic, or the Joker. You guys didn't need me to tell you that. Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, my guy, De'Aaron Fox. Yep, my Kings. Got that for Christmas. Wife got me that for Christmas. Thank you for that, honey. Then we got Tyrese Halliburton, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Ant-Man, Stephen Curry, and LeBron James. And then the list goes down from there as I was creating a list with random names in it, just trying to see what I could do in terms of gauging the data for how much money people were spending on trading card singles for the last couple of years. So in this data that I have it ranked by the MVP odds in ascending order from top to bottom, what I have here showing in the past year on the far right of the page, we've got the last year's spend by player. And so in that case, you see Joel Embiid there at $2 million, which is pretty low compared to some of the other counterparts. Now, obviously, Joel Embiid hasn't really done anything in the playoffs. He did win MVP last year for the first time. He's the front runner this year again. Even though he's hurt at the moment, he's definitely still a front runner for MVP. Then we've got Nikola Jokic, who was the champion from last year. He's a two-time MVP, if I'm not mistaken, for the Denver Nuggets. He's at $5.7 million worth of card sales in the last year. We've got Luka Doncic. He's kind of like the leader amongst the top 10, so to speak. If you count LeBron James and Steph Curry in that list, I guess you'd consider them higher than Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic was the hobby darling back in 2018 when he was Rookie of the Year. Came out from Europe, lit the world on fire in his rookie season. He's definitely a highlight reel kind of guy, but he's never really won anything. He had a run a couple years ago where he ended up in the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, and then they were an easy out, and the Warriors went on to win the title that year, making it the fourth title for Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors. But Luka Doncic, $12.9, almost $13 million still to this day, every year almost spent on his cards, which is just staggering. It's stunning, even though he's fallen so much. But he's third in MVP odds this year, which is good. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I don't think he'll win it, but I certainly believe he's got a shot at it. Next, you've got SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, they're an upstart team. I think they're a little bit ahead of schedule for what most people figured they'd be at for this stage. They probably had this team pegged as a playoff team maybe a couple of years from now. And they seem to be pretty solid this year. That young core is starting to mature a little bit with Chet Holmgren back, Jalen Williams, SGA, of course, and a couple other good pieces. If I'm not mistaken, they still have a lot of draft picks coming from the Clippers in that Paul George trade. I don't know that that'll matter too much right now because they're both playoff-ish teams. So I don't know that those picks are going to be destined to be top 5 picks. But still pretty funny to think that one player, Paul George, led to all those players for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Kind of reminds you of the Herschel Walker trade back in the day, or even the, what's the other trade? The Halliburton trade, the gift that keeps on giving, even though that was sort of a fair trade in the grand scheme of things for both teams. Next, we've got Giannis, my guy for the Milwaukee Bucks, kind of my original team, if I may say that. I grew up in Milwaukee, grew up not too far from where the Bucks play basketball, went to college near where the Bucks play basketball. So I've still got a soft spot in my heart for the Milwaukee Bucks. Even though I haven't lived there in 20 some years, I still managed to make it up there from time to time, and definitely think that the Bucks have a shot at winning the title this year with Damian Lillard on the team. But if you look at the spend, I didn't mention the spend for SGA. It's about $3 million. So it's about a quarter of the Luka Doncic spend, which is crazy. That's crazy to think about. And then you look at Giannis, and he's right there with kind of Luka Doncic, about $12.3 million. Even Luka still outpaces Giannis, which is unbelievable. I cannot believe that. The fact that Luka Doncic really has never won anything, and he still outsells guys that have won MVPs multiple times. But hey, you can't change the market. The market is the market. You can only just talk about it. So then we've got Jason Tatum next for the Boston Celtics. He is currently 6th in the MVP odds market, if I'm not mistaken, at the last time I checked. His market is about 60% of Giannis's market. Now, he's in a big market in Boston. He's got a market size right now in terms of sales in the last year of about $7.5 million, which is up there, but not the top of the list, but it's solid. It's always been solid. Jason, again, is another hobby darling. Ever since he was picked by Boston, ever since he came out from Duke, he's been a hobby darling through and through, and people, it's sort of like a horns and halos effect, and we'll get into it next with the guy below him. But I think, the halo is always going to be on Jason Tatum. Unless he does something absolutely stupid, the halo is always going to be there. The next guy, De'Aaron Fox, my guy, De'Aaron Fox, for the Sacramento Kings, he is, I know he's in a small market, but still, I lived in the Bay Area for 2 years. I know that market kind of well. It's a broad area. People live in Sacramento who work in the Bay Area. People commute from Fairfield, from Vacaville, from Davis, from Sacramento, from Fresno, from, maybe not Fresno, maybe a little bit farther, Manteca, Stockton. They commute, they're mega commuters, right? So when you think about the market size for Sacramento, yes, it's a small market, but that's a big region. And they will get behind a good player if they believe in them. Now, Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors are hogging all the attention out there in the Bay Area, but I would still consider Sacramento as part of the greater Bay Area, because when you look at employment in terms of where people are from, where they work, et cetera, for that area, those geographic locations adjacent to Sacramento are still considered reachable for the tech sector. So I wouldn't consider that a small market. I would consider that a pretty big market. But like I said, the Golden State Warriors have hogged that market for the last 10 years. I'm not saying the Sacramento Kings will ever be the Golden State Warriors. That'll probably never happen. But when you think about it, it's literally an hour away. It would be like a Milwaukee team and a Chicago team. Somehow, like when Michael Jordan was popular, I think a lot of people from Milwaukee, I grew up in Milwaukee, I was a Michael Jordan fan. It wasn't hard for me to cheer for a guy that I thought was greatness, even though I wasn't in the state that he was from or that he's played in, but I was a fan of that player because of greatness. So we'll see what happens in the long run. I'm not trying to say De'Aaron Fox is Michael Jordan. We're not going to dwell on De'Aaron Fox here. We're going to move off of him, I promise. But to have only a market sales, even though it's tripled in the last year, of still $1.6 million, it's such a small amount relative to some of these other guys. Obviously, Joel Embiid, the hobby hates big men. I don't know why, but that's the way it always has been. I could make a completely separate video on why the hobby hating big men doesn't make any sense when some of these guys like Kevin Durant, you can't base it totally on height. He's not a big man, he's a small forward. Yes, fair enough, but he's 7 feet tall. Joel Embiid, 7 feet 2, 7 feet 3, whatever he is, 7 feet, I don't know, doesn't matter. Nikola Jokic, same deal. These guys are unicorn players. They're, obviously the original unicorn is Kristaps Porzingis. However, these guys are hybrid players. They're not true big men. They don't just sit there down below the rim. They're all over the court. They're facilitating. And so I think, why does it matter that they're dedicated centers, even though I think a lot of these guys they're just good players. And it's time the hobby start realizing it for what it is. These guys are not true big men. They just happen to be tall and play the center position, but they do so much more for their team, almost like a point guard would. So hope that makes sense, but I'll make a completely separate video at some point in the future on January, maybe talking about big men and height and analogies between that and other sports, and whether we should truly view big men as like not as sort of beneath the hobby. I don't think that's a fair way of looking at it. So moving forward here, Next, beneath De'Aaron Fox, we've got Tyrese Halliburton, literally double the total. He's from the Indiana Pacers now. He was originally drafted by the Kings. Tyrese Halliburton, another hobby darling, mostly just because he was traded when he was a rookie. He was kind of anointed as a potential good player from that 2020 draft class that brought LaMelo Ball, Ant-Man, and Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, the other Tyrese, into the league. But Halliburton in a small market in Indiana, but literally outselling De'Aaron Fox 2-1, which makes no sense. Then you've got Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's won multiple championships for the Golden State Warriors, even though it's sort of like a bought championship, more or less. $7 million in sales in the last year. Devin Booker, another small market, Phoenix. They made a finals run a couple years ago when Giannis won $2.3 million, even though the biggest knock on Devin Booker, he's hurt all the time. It seems like that guy cannot stay on the court for longer than 30 games at a time, even though he's a very, very fun watch. I remember watching him as a rookie. I think it was at a Denver Nuggets game. I was on vacation back then. He may have been in his second year in the league, and I think Jokic also was in his second year in the league. Seeing them on court together in that game was absolutely fantastic. I won't forget that one for the rest of my life. And by the way, tickets were cheap then too. They were like $28 for courtside seats at a Nuggets game. That was awesome. So won't forget that one back from 2017. Next on that list, we've got Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. Again, a really solid total of $7 million compared to where we were with Tyrese Halliburton at $3.3 million. And another guy that's kind of anointed amongst that draft class. He was the #1 overall pick for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was a freshman out of Georgia. Definitely a very exciting player to watch. He's a very dynamic player. A lot of people draw comparisons to him and like Michael Jordan. He's just a very, very interesting player to watch. I think he's gonna have a great career if he stays healthy and that team becomes relevant. And then we got a couple guys that are literally hogging all the money in the hobby. Stephen Curry and LeBron James at $20 million and almost $40 million respectively. We won't go beyond this in terms of this list. I want to switch over to another list to do some comparisons. So if you see behind me, the screen is changing. It's because we're going to talk now about market size comparison to De'Aaron Fox. So De'Aaron Fox, they're calibrated down at the bottom of that list. We'll call it 100%. So literally the $1.63 million times the 1.6 or divided by the $1.63 million gives you a 1-to-1 comparison. So we'll compare everybody else to De'Aaron Fox and see where the hobby is in terms of spending money on every player that's ranked in the MVP odds. De'Aaron Fox, we'll call it 1-to-1, right? Tyrese Halliburton outsells De'Aaron Fox 2-to-1. Jason Tatum outsells De'Aaron Fox almost 5-to-1. Stephen Curry outsells De'Aaron Fox 12-to-1. LeBron James outsells De'Aaron Fox 25-to-1. We've got guys like Giannis outselling De'Aaron Fox 7.5-to-1. We've got Luka Doncic outselling De'Aaron Fox 8-to-1. I know market size, we want to go back to market size and talk about market size, fair enough. But the multipliers here make no sense. For a guy that's top 5 in the league in scoring, go read the stats for the NBA. Let that soak in when you look at De'Aaron Fox and where he is on this list. Go look at the stat sheet this year and see what this guy is doing relative to those other guys. You'll see the gap between him and them, it's not much. Yes, he's in a small market, fair enough. Beat me up in the comments about that because I'm stating the obvious there. But there's no way that Jason Tatum is worth 5 times as much as De'Aaron Fox in terms of sales dollars. No way in hell. There's no way in hell that Tyrese Halliburton is worth twice. There's no way Steph Curry is worth 12 times. Makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. De'Aaron Fox, I'm going to toot my own horn on that one. I was on this guy a couple years ago, back in 2022, when nobody was buying his stuff at a card show. You see that putrid total there, $567,000 in terms of the total spend for 2022. Well, I made up not a large portion of that. I wish I would have bought a ton of it, but I made up a decent portion of that last year. When I look at the total from this year, it was nice to see that it had tripled in value, but it's still got a long, long way to go to catch up to some of those other players, the hobby darlings, the guys that are anointed. We'll see who wins a championship first. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think the Kings will ever win a championship? I'm guessing the answer is probably no. But never say never. The Denver Nuggets won a title. The Milwaukee Bucks won a title. The Miami Heat made it to the finals last year, and they were a play-in team. So anything can happen now in the NBA. The parity is just getting better and better. Go watch a Kings game. Go use your eyes. Go watch some basketball and understand and let me know, do you guys think De'Aaron Fox deserves to be outnumbered in terms of sales from Jason Tatum 5-1? Let me know. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for more content. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.